Are you a fan of Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, maybe even The Mummy? I wouldn't quite call this those three, but this movie is very fun. It's full of charm, it's explorative, and full of heart, and I had such a fun time with Jungle Cruise, y'all. What's going on? My name's Leo Rydell, and if you're new to Geekly Goods, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for the latest in geek. And y'all, today we are here to review Jungle Cruise, and let me tell you, I had a blast, you guys. But what is Jungle Cruise about? Jungle Cruise is based on the Disney theme park attraction of the same name and follows Dr. Lily, who enlists the help of questionable Captain Frank to navigate her through the Amazon in search of an ancient secret. The movie is directed by Jaume Collet Serra and stars Emily Blunt as Dr. Lily, The Rock as Frank, Jack Whitehall, Jesse Plemons, and Paul Giamatti. I gotta admit, guys, right off the bat, I had a blast with this one. I already want to re-roll the tape and watch it again. I just thought it was so fun. So naturally, let's get into what worked with the movie. Now, I want to start with The Rock and Emily Blunt because they had an absolute excellent performance here. I love the two of them. They have so much charisma, and the chemistry of both of them really came together. Emily Blunt played like this female version of Indiana Jones, this very explorative character who was willing to dive deep into the forest and really get to the ancient treasure and secret that she wanted. And I love that. She was capable, she was witty, she was funny, great character. Didn't need The Rock to come save her butt. So I absolutely love these strong women characters that we're seeing in media today, and she was one of them. So I love Dr. Lily. She was already breaking the stereotype by the beginning of the movie. Now, I don't want to spoil, but you will definitely see how she breaks the stereotype of women in 1916. Absolutely love it. And then The Rock comes in as Frank with his great charisma to balance her out, and he's just funny, he's witty, he's quippy. I mean, I absolutely love the dad jokes in this movie. There's just this big amount of dad jokes in this movie, and let me tell y'all, it had me chuckling and grinning from ear to ear because dad joke humor is some of my favorite humor. So I absolutely love these two together. And I also love Jesse Plemons as a villain. Look, whatever he's in, I'm there. Man, what did we see him in first? I remember seeing him in Breaking Bad first, and my man has been crushing every role ever since. Even though some of them didn't quite like the movie, I like Jesse Plemons in it. So I am very excited for the future of his career. And then Jack Whitehall, he was really good as well as the brother. I thought he provided great comic relief and a nice middle of the road character for the two strong characters that we had in both Emily Blunt and The Rock. Great trio with them three. Man, I really like the cast in this movie. And not to mention, I also really love the score. And that's what I want to talk about next. James Newton Howard, who is usually the composer for M. Night Shyamalan's movies. He's also done The Dark Knight, Pretty Woman, Space Jam, and so many more. I mean, a very well-known name in this industry. He does an absolute excellent job in this movie, guys. I love the score. It is very reminiscent of classic Disney with a little bit of Indiana Jones flair to it. You know, that you've got that exciting valor that comes with those Indiana Jones movies. It's really embedded into this film. Whenever the adventure starts, it kicks up. It really makes you feel like you're on this magical explorative ride with the characters, and it was just so fun to be in the setting during the time. I also really love the wardrobe. I love the production design, and outside of the CGI, I'll get to that a little bit later, but I love the river, I love the bow, I love the little town that they're in. I mean, seriously, I really enjoyed this movie through and through and thought there were some very strong elements. Now, let's get into what doesn't quite work. Now, the first thing that really doesn't work, in my opinion, unfortunately, is the CGI. I think the CGI is good in some areas, not so good in others. I think that it's pretty inconsistent, unfortunately, and there's this really cute leopard character in the movie named Proxima, and she is just the most adorable thing, but unfortunately, she's great in some scenes, and then in others, doesn't look like the CGI blends too well with the environment. So unfortunately, it is a little bit inconsistent. There are a few other CGI animals that end up appearing in the movie, and it just doesn't work sometimes. I also want to say the environments are also the same way. I think that there are just some environments that just don't quite work with that CGI, and it just doesn't look as organic as it could. A little bit messy in some of those parts, but you know what? It didn't ruin the movie for me. It just kind of daunted the experience in some places, in some areas. Another thing that I thought didn't go quite quite well was that there is a story beat that I thought was incredibly important, especially for one of the characters. And I don't want to spoil, I actually can't spoil, but this specific story beat didn't really need to be toward the end of the movie. I think that we got about halfway through, or a little bit more than halfway through, and then we learned about this revelation, and it just didn't really work where it was placed. I think it would have helped if it was placed a little bit earlier in the movie, or at least before you got halfway through the movie. But when you introduce it at a point where we're kind of at our peak, really enjoying the movie, and then you throw in another big story beat, it just kind of takes you back a little bit and makes you feel like, okay, I'm in a whole different movie now because this has been introduced. So I think that specific story plot point would have been nice earlier in the movie. But guys, this is a really fun movie, full of heart, courage, exploration. It's really well done, and it's based off of a Disney theme park ride. I think that it is very fun, and there are some really nice themes in the movie as well, of friendship, exploration, women empowerment. I really enjoy seeing these things on screen. So man, guys, I had a fun time. But let me know, are you planning to see Jungle Cruise? Let me know down in the comments. And if I had to give a rating to Jungle Cruise out of 10, I would go a 7, maybe even a 7.5 out of 10. Look, I thought there were definitely some problems with the movie, including a couple more like writing and some other details, but you know what? Emily Blunt and The Rock really shine through this movie and make what could be a mediocre movie into something incredibly fun for 2 hours and 7 minutes, guys. Let me know down in the comments though, how much are you excited about this movie? Are you gonna watch it on Disney Plus or in theaters? And let me know how excited you are for it. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time on Geekly Goods.